Hey YouTube, today's video I was originally going to be talking about this bitch here coming up.
I'm talking about a final solution to the black problem. And how long would it take for any sane black man to notice this? And what kind of a psycho black man wouldn't object to this? But I tell the obvious truth about the ongoing program of genocide against my race, the white race.
Problem with that is I've forgotten which channel I took it from. The only thing I've got to go back is the name, and I'll deal with that another date. Fucking retarded bitch that she is. The worst thing is, it's an old one from December, and I've not seen very many bad, like anti whatever she's saying comments. It's all been kind of proactive for her. That can't go on. The next one I was going to talk about was this Muslim guy coming up right about now.
In a few minutes, I would like to share with you how to have a dialogue with an atheist.
But I thought, no, I won't take a sojourn into the Muslim world just yet. I will though, because he knows not how to talk to atheists with respect for what we are, which is anything we like, as long as we don't believe in a god. Nope. Instead, I'm going to talk about this video that's going to be coming up, called Atheism Needs Religion. Now, when I discovered this video, it was a couple of days ago. I had a nice wee chat with a guy. I'll leave a link down below with the guy about it on his comments page, and he's a nice enough chap. Not really a theist, more a new age deist as such. Believes the universe is God of sorts, life force sort of thing. But I'm gonna do this. I promised him a reply a few days ago, and I'm finally getting around to it. So, I'm all strapped in. I'm not going to be too sarcastic because he's a nice lap chap. I don't need anything else. I don't need to be sarcastic about it. I'm just going to try and be as nice as I can with him. Okay.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video blog. I really do apologise. I think I'm catching a cold, so it's a bit weird. I never caught a cold in the summer, but the body can feel ill at times, and it makes me feel more human to be.
You've obviously never lived in Scotland. Catching a cold any time of the year is highly likely in Scotland. But that's beside the point. Let's just carry on, shall we?
Ill. I'm always grateful for feeling ill. Anyway, carrying on from my discussion about atheism yesterday, it dawned upon me in the morning during meditation that why do atheists talk about God more than religious people do? It seems to me that not all atheists, that would be generalising, of course, but in terms of they try to disprove God more than a religious person tries to prove God.
That's because the religious have nothing to prove God upon. Any of the gods. It's all the same. Nothing. It's not that we're trying to disprove God, it's just that with all the shite we get, I say we as an atheist, from the religious, one of the best defences we have is actually reading their holy works and then pointing out to them, bing bang boom, you're wrong. And it's the only way to deal with them, I'm afraid. It's a mass delusion on the theist side that needs to be broken for the world to be better.
Either one of them are both wrong, because the atheist will try to prove there isn't a God, and the theist will prove there is a God, and both of their arguments are as strong as each other.
As I pointed out to you in the comments, no they're not. An atheist isn't trying to disprove God. All an atheist will say is, show me proof of God and I'll believe. Until then, there's nothing to believe in. The only reason we try to disprove God, like I said, is because it's forced upon us. It's simple as that. It really is forced upon us. As for argument's sake, no. The argument from the atheist will always be stronger than the argument from the theist, because the theist has nothing to back it up except their scriptures. And once you prove the scriptures wrong, there is nothing, absolutely nothing to say anything else about God of any type. Usually you'll see arguments between the Christians and atheists, or Muslims and atheists, and they don't realise is that the Bible being, well, the Torah is where the whole religion comes from, the Jewish faith, and the Bible's based on that. So if we can prove the Bible wrong, then Christianity is the way I like to stand on. And the same goes for the Islamic faith. Same God.
Otherwise, if one was completely right, the other would have to accept no matter what.
And there's your fundamentalism. They don't accept it. No matter what you say. They'll still carry on believing in their little God, no matter what evidence you show them. It's the whole creationist problem. That's where delusion comes in for the religious. There's no proof, but they're going to go with it anyway.
But you can they label each other as delusional, and it creates a whole load of unnecessary torture for their minds and their own selves, because does it really matter if one believes in God or one doesn't? Is it really that important to somebody that they believe in God or they do not believe in God? And why does it affect you so much if somebody does believe in God? And why would it affect you so much if someone does not believe in God? All these questions need to be answered by both the atheist and the theist.
There's no mental torture. But the main thing is, yes, it does matter in a case of like the American politics, the right wing for example. It matters in that sort of case where there's a sect called the Dominionists, and they believe that the whole Jesus coming back for a second time, the second coming, will only happen when the world's resources are fucked. If they come to power of America with all those nukes at hand, I don't want that sort of power to be handed to people like that. And before you say there's none of them in power in America, there is. Several senators are Dominionists. It's a frightening thing. And that's brought about by religion. You won't find many atheists doing that at all, because there's no reason to. So it doesn't matter whether someone believes in God or not. It's a delusion. Just because it's a mass delusion, unless socially acceptable, doesn't make it right. You can believe in Christ all you want, or you can believe in God, Yahweh, or you can believe in the Hindu gods. All you want. Just keep it to yourself, and that's all. But it's not kept to themselves. It's forced upon people. Many wars have started because of religion. It's not a good thing to believe without proof. It bothers the theist because, quite simply, They want control. That's what all religion's about, is control. Nothing else. Control and power. It's the only thing religion is for. Controlling the people through mass stupidity. And the non-believer is a sign that it's not working.
And I just find the atheists so great because they talk about something that isn't there and they talk about, look how insane it looks actually, talking about something that you know isn't there, but trying to prove it's not there. If you're trying to see the whole paradox of the situation, that you know it doesn't exist, yet you talk about it so much.
It's no paradox, and I apologise because you're a nice guy, but I'm going to get pretty sarcastic here. I know that Wonderland doesn't exist, but I can still talk about it. I know that the world of Harry Potter doesn't exist, but I can still talk about it. Do you see where I'm going with this? At all. It's just like the Wheel of Time. I understand the world, I've read every book. I can still talk about it, even though I know it doesn't exist. And the same goes for the Dragons of Pern series. Any Anne McCaffrey series. Any novel you want to read in fiction. That's it.
For me, I think the atheists really do depend on the theists or the religious people who believe in God. Without the religious people, they cannot be atheists. They will have their whole job or their whole mission that they put onto themselves would absolutely fail.
Now I made this point to you on the comment section, and I deleted a bit of your monologue there because it waffled on a bit. The thing is about saints needing sinners, blah blah. The thing is, an atheist does not need religion to be an atheist. All atheism is a lack of belief in a God. There's no need for religion. If you grew up not knowing anything about religion or any gods, then you'd be an atheist as default. Simple as that. There's nothing else to it. Also, it's not a job and it's not a mission. It's just an ideology saying there is no God unless there's proof. Simple as that. Some atheists take a mission upon themselves to deconvert. Fair enough, but that's as far as it goes.
But that's not meaning that, you know, the religious people are equally right, because they've never found it. They're just believing some priest or some scripture or some you know, guru or master, when they haven't found God for themselves. For me, again, that's highly delusional. But
well, you got the right bit there. Religion is delusional. There's no such thing as finding God for yourself, because it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a God. It's all made up.
At least they're delusional about something, and knowing that they think that something's there. So for them, it's okay.
As I've already stated, delusion is not okay in any sense. It's as simple as that. It can lead to a lot of trouble.
It's okay to be delusional, but for an atheist who knows something isn't there, yet talks about it so much, that's delusional. That is more delusional than a religious person.
No, it's not.
So for me, the atheist does not get more credit. Hence, I can never be labelled as an atheist. But, you know, in my opinion, the theist is just as worse, because it's repeating jargon, as if it's their own. So, you know, they've never found God, but because they've been condemned so much that it's easier for them to depend on something. So they depend on a fatherly figure or a compassionate figure or someone that's in control. For them it's much easier. While for an atheist, I mean, I praise them that, you know, they've reached that level of not needing God to live life. But that does not mean that you can just go to someone and say, there is no God, there is no God, because you won't need to say that. I think anyone who knows there is not a God will not need to say there is no God constantly. And, you know, when you're constantly talking about it, it's...
The reason for that is because in religious societies, atheists are actually the worst, how can I put this, suppressed. The worst, I suppose suppression will do. Out of all minorities, they're worst dealt with. There's so much lies and all sorts of shit put out about atheism that we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to say, look, this is why we think there's no God. Deal with it. Remember, it's not up to the atheist to prove anything. It's up to the theist. The atheist doesn't go out his way to prove anything wrong. It's just part of the arsenal that we've had in our arguments to defeat the suppression of ourselves. If the Christians had their way, we'd be stoned to death. It's in the Bible. If the Jews had their way, it'd be the same, because it's in the Bible, well, the Torah. The same for the Muslims. I don't know about Hindus, I've never really studied that religion. But you get where I'm going with this. We're considered the worst of the worst. The scum of all scum. But yeah, I wouldn't describe you as an atheist either. I'd describe you as probably an agnostic theist. But let's carry on, shall we?
It's obviously, there's something within you that wants to talk about it. There's something within you that feels that one day this may be proven to be true. God will...
There's no need. It's just a form of self-defense.
Will never be proven to be true, as in the persona per se, or the identifiable figure. But say it to someone who is a Taoist, or to a Buddhist, to a Jaina, to some aspects of Hinduism, and if you ask them that, even to actually Sikhism, to Guru Nanak, if you know, Guru Nanak didn't really believe in a personalised God.
I hate to burst your bubble, but Sheikhs do believe in a God, a personalised God. In particular, a plural, sorry, a singular God. But let's carry on, shall we?
If you say to them that there is no God, they'll agree with you, but they'll be able to prove to you as well how God is. And
they can't agree that there is no God and then go and prove how God is. If you're going to agree that there is no God, then there is no God. Life is just life. There is no controlling force. No nothing supernatural.
They call it life, or existence, or something that's formless, the life energy. So they don't really go against the whole cycle of it. They see the cycle, they see that it's all interdependent. They'll neither say there is a God, neither will they say there is not a God. They know there's a middle part. So for me, in particularly, I don't accept atheism as the only way.
Since you're making a claim about a life force that's interdependent, would you care to supply some peer-reviewed scientific papers on that, please? Because until there is, there's no such thing as a life force either. There's just you, and that's it. This one life you've got. Make it the best of it you can, because once it's gone, and the only thing you can do is make life better for the next generation, apart from living life for yourself.
And neither do I accept that they are completely right. They have a lot of good arguments, and believe me, I do feel they are very right in what they say. At least they're not that delusional. But if you're not that delusional, you do not need to talk about God. You know.
You've mentioned it several times. I've already said it's not delusional, but I'm going to put out the definition of delusion for you. Delusion is holding a set of beliefs despite all the evidence against it. That's it. That's what delusion is. It's believing in something despite there being evidence, lots and lots of evidence against it. The point is proven not to be true. Yet if you still believe, then it's a delusion. Atheism isn't that.
Richard Dawkins doesn't need to talk about God that much. Neither does Christopher Hitchens or anybody. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in God.
Without these people speaking about it, then you wouldn't hear about atheism that much. These people gave others the courage to stand up in their communities and say, you know what, I don't believe your bullshit. I've always been an atheist. I've grown up in a Christian country in Scotland, but a very Christian town, but I never believed. I've been to Sunday school game workshop shit when I was younger for something to do during school holidays in Oban. A very, very Christian town, but I never believed their shit. It was all boring to me. I've always been an atheist. Who was I? Oh yeah. But if these people didn't speak out, then we'd still be the most suppressed, well, we'd be even further suppressed. Be even more, what's the word I'm looking for? Demonized. Vilified than we are just now. You'd have resentment building up in these people to dangerous levels. There's not much more to say about it. Without these people, the world would not be the better place that it's beginning to get to be.
Fair enough. You're right as well as a religious person who believes in God. But your way of questioning should be, can you prove that God can be found?
Every atheist I've ever read about, every video I've seen about atheism has always asked, can you prove it? That's all an atheist asks. Can you prove it? And if you can't, well, and then once they make their claim, we will debunk it using science and their own book against them. Again, talking about Christianity or books. That's it.
Instead, it's condemn God. Let's not find out why God is not true. It's easy to come to a conclusion. That's what everyone keeps doing. They keep swapping conclusions, but they never talk about the method.
Atheists have and continue to do so to talk about how they were their own deconversion from their religion, or how they no longer believed, if they're coming from that sort of background. You really have to do some more subject matter on some more research on this before you can say this sort of stuff, mate. You really are.
Somehow the method is not needed. But let me be honest with you, atheists do come up with a better method when someone is sharp. So yeah,
Also, you can't say we don't discuss the method and then suddenly say atheists have the best methods. If we have the best methods, how do you know if we don't say it?
So for me, the atheist is just as delusional as the theist, and that's because they're talking about something they know that doesn't exist.
Not again. I'm not bothered to deal with that again. I just can't.
And both are as wrong as each other, but you know, at the end of the day, on that concept level, they fail. But again, one does not condemn either, because one is serving one purpose. But they both need each other. They both depend on each other. They both require each other. You know, without the religious person, the atheist will feel so, you know, they'll have nothing to prove to people. So they feel worthless. And in a way they need religion to feel some kind of meaning.
I wouldn't feel worthless at all. I wouldn't feel anything. Because without religion, you wouldn't know about religion. And you wouldn't know you were an atheist. You'd just be normal. You'd find meaning in your life. Atheism isn't about finding a meaning for oneself. There is no meaning to atheism. It's just a stance. That's all it is.
Well, the religious person needs the atheist, again, to have some kind of meaning in what they believe in.
Wrong. So that's that, folks. I'll have to decide. Let me know in the comments where you want me to deal with the Muslim or the racist bitch. And I'll deal with that next. I meant to say condescending, not sarcastic. Sarcastic, by the way. Early on in the film. Oh my goodness. This is such a long video. Anyway. See you next time.